Now, I don't want another year to roll by with the eating disorder being in the driver's seat in your brain. So I'm going to take you through the 5 steps that I know are guaranteed to get you recovered as someone who has recovered from an eating disorder themselves and now works with people to help heal their eating disorder on a daily basis as a registered mental health nurse and as an eating disorder recovery coach. I feel like I have the grounds to say I know how to get people. As we go through these steps, I want you to keep these 3 key things in mind. These key things, if you apply them to everything throughout your recovery, you are going to be guaranteed to reach full recovery, and I do not say that lightly. So what the hell are these 3 things? We have determination, we have consistency, and we have the goddamn all-important actions. If you think about it, if you are motivated to do something, that's going to come in waves, isn't it? Motivation is a luxury. Determination is something that can run through regardless of how you feel. Consistency means that you're going to rewire your brain because you're doing something on a consistent basis. If you do things willy-nilly, it's not going to work. And the actions, well, come on. They speak for themselves. If we're not doing, we're not getting. Right, let's break down these 5 steps. So step number 1. Get super clear on your reasons for recovery. What are your whys? Why the hell are you doing this? Everything in life has a reason, and recovery is no different. Recovery requires you to connect with what you are actually recovering for, because an eating disorder is a strong mental illness. It's a very, very powerful illness, and if you don't know why you are recovering, you're not going to have the power to override the eating disorder, and the eating disorder is going to walk all over you. So you have to have specific reasons that resonate with you, and I want you to get super specific with them. Look, I'm sure one of your reasons is I want to feel better, and that is great, but what does that mean for you? What does feeling better mean for your life? What can you do that you can't do with the eating disorder in your life? Get super clear, get super specific on your whys. Now, step 2 is about taking your whys and breaking them down into realistic actions. It comes back to the actions, people, like I've just said. Now, if you think about it, your reasons are great and you need to hold on to those. You need to come back to those when the eating disorder wants you to engage in it. But you have to not only know why you're doing it, but you have to know what to do as well. So think about what it would look like to be at the end point of recovery. So think what it would look like to have your whys, your reasons for recovery. And what would you need to do to get there? And we need to break that down, because again, we can be too generalized. Oh, well, I need to eat more. I need to heal my relationship with food. Yeah, great, you do. But what does that look like? You might have something like, I want to be well enough to start my degree next year. Great reason, great outlook for your future self. Love that goal. But how the hell are you going to get there? So breaking it down into realistic actions is going to look like, right, well, I need to be physically well enough. Again, what does that look like? What do you need to do right now to improve your physical health? And be as specific as you can, people. Another realistic action, I need to be able to feed myself on a daily basis. I need to be able to feed myself enough. Yes, so what do you need to do now to get there? These things aren't just going to fall from the sky and fall into your brain. You need to make it happen. You almost have to live right now as if you already have your reason. You have to live like you have that future right now and almost pretend that you have it. And it's going to feel like you're pretending. It's going to feel forced. And a lot of people give up because they're like, well, this isn't working. I'm just almost making it up in my brain. No, it is working. You just got to give it time, consistency. And then another realistic action might be, well, I need to have flexibility so that I can socialize, so that I can have a life. Yep, okay. So what do you need to do now? How can you practice doing that right now? Everybody's realistic actions are going to look a little bit different from person to person. Just like everybody's reasons for recovery is going to look different from person to person. So make this personalised. Step 3 is to make your environment recovery proof. You cannot recover from an eating disorder if everything just stays the same. And look, I'm not talking about moving house. I'm not talking about moving across the world in order to recover, because let's face it, you can't do that. The eating disorder would come with you. You have to change your mindset. But what you are surrounded by, things that you can have a little bit of say over, change them, yeah? So make sure, for example, your food that you have aligns with recovery. If you just have loads of foods that's just associated with your eating disorder, so they're disordered foods, they're based on rules that the eating disorder's made, well, that's not aligning with your recovery, and that's not going to get you recovered because it's just feeding the eating disorder. Maybe you've got clothes that, they fit and they might fit forevermore, but you associate them with the eating disorder. They remind you of bad times. Maybe your eating disorder picked those clothes for whatever reason. Let's get rid, out with the old, in with the new. You need to maybe make some reasonable adjustments at work or at school. Don't kind of think, I can't recover because I need to still work or I need to still go to school. No, you can, all right, but we might need to be a bit savvy. We might need to open up a little bit about your situation, get some support so that we can, tinker a little bit with your daily routine so that it aligns more with your recovery. You've got to make time for recovery, and it's kind of like another full-time job in itself, but you have to surrender to that. You have to prioritize recovery, and then make sure you have helpful distractions, things to do. Like I say to my clients, when you're challenging things, do not afterwards just sit rocking to yourself, because your mind is going to get the better of you. Engage in things that are different from the eating disorder. Change up your routine. Change where you sit in your house. Change at what time you eat. Just make changes to your environment, to your daily living, that almost triggers your brain into thinking, this is a change, this is different. If we do the same, we'll get the same. Step number 4 is getting the support that is right for you. Now look, we don't need to be having fancy support. Do not think, I don't have access to professional support. I don't have the money for professional support. If you can have access and you are in a position where you can access professional support, then I would absolutely advise it, because that is what I do. So I must think that there's something in it. But if you can't, do not worry. You can still recover. I have known of people that have fully recovered and they haven't had any professional support at all. Do not let your eating disorder use it as an excuse. You might want to think about the personal support that you can get. And what I mean by that is your friends, your family. Can they offer you some encouragement? Now, don't confuse this, all right? Your friends and families are not professionals. If you are a friend or family member watching this by any chance, do not feel like you have to take on the role of the nurse, the dietitian, the therapist, because you are not those things. You are a mother, a friend, a dad, whatever, all right? And the support that you can offer is just being there for the person, is reminding them that they are loved, that they are worthy, that they are valued. Do not take the weight of the world on your shoulders, people. And then also support from yourself, because believe it or not, you are the only person that can get you recovered. You can have all the fancy professional support that you want. You could be working with me as a one-to-one client, but if you aren't supporting yourself, if you aren't enabling those actions yourself, it doesn't matter. It's a waste of time. You need to do it for you. I always say to everybody that I work with, you are the one doing this. I'm just here to help you. I'm just your cheerleader. You are the one that makes the final decisions at the end of the day. So the biggest support that you can have is from yourself. And that's part of recovery as well, isn't it? Because we can't hate ourselves into better versions of ourselves. And step number 5, if you haven't already guessed, is the goddamn actions. Actions, actions, actions. That is what rewires your brain. That is what gets you recovered. All of the above that I have mentioned is worth nothing if you don't put all of that into action. The actions are the hardest bit, but because it's the hardest bit, it's the most meaningful and important bit. The actions solidify your mindset. So if you are thinking, well, I need to change my mindset, I want to change my mindset, that is going to be driven by the actions. You can't just think yourself out of a mental illness. You need to act yourself out of a mental illness. Actions are what rewires the brain, and as we know, when you have an eating disorder, it kind of hijacks your brain, wires it up to think in a disordered way. So recovery is about undoing that, getting stuck in and rewiring these learned beliefs, thoughts, opinions that the eating disorder has influenced you to have. And the only way that you can change those is by doing. I promise you, I'm not just making this up. Now, 9 times out of 10, it will feel very forced, especially at the beginning, to do the actions. So do not wait to feel ready. Do not wait for a better time. Do not wait for you to feel motivated. all right? Because there are going to have to be many, many, many times in your recovery where you have to do things that you don't want to do, or should I say, you do want to do it, but you just don't want to go through the discomfort of doing that. But you need to surrender to that discomfort. There is no way around that discomfort. Going through that discomfort is what is actively rewiring your brain. And if we link actions to determination and consistency, you have to be determined to do these actions. Like I say, do not wait to feel ready. And if we link it to consistency, having consistent actions is what is going to get you recovered. Now, if you do actions but just every other Tuesday at 5 p.m, not going to work. So you need to be doing it on a daily basis, multiple times a day. You need to keep choosing recovery multiple times a day. Recovery isn't something that you just wake up one day and choose and that's it. It's all happy, skipping, jumping from then. Sometimes you're going to have days where you feel like you're having to choose recovery 50 million times, but so be it, my love. That is the way. And if you think about it, any great invention, idea, product, whatever, it all came from the doing. Yeah, nobody thinks, I've got a great idea for something, and then just thinks their way into it being created. No, they have to actually do. They have to do the process. They have to be consistent. They have to be determined. They have to be patient as well. Don't think, I've done recovery for a week and I'm no better, so sod it. No, babe, it's going to be a long ride. All right. I mean, there's ways to make it longer for yourself if you keep engaging in the recovery, if you keep 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But this ain't a quick fix. Nothing in life that is really, really important is a quick fix. So there we have it. These are the 5 steps that you are going to apply to your recovery day in, day out, and it is going to get you recovered, I'm telling you. Now, obviously, if you feel like you do need support, then LV Recovery is here. This is what I help people with on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, like I say, it comes down to you guys. If you don't want it, it ain't going to happen. Be determined, be bold, be brave.